South by Southwest 2009. I'm Christina Warren from Download Squad, and I'm here with R Klau, the project manager at Blogger.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you.
So we were kind of talking a little bit yesterday about some of the stuff that Google's doing, the Blogger's doing especially, in regards to data liberation, so that you can get your data out of the system that it's in and take it elsewhere if you need to.
Right. Well, I think this is a pretty core value to Google. Right. We have always at Blogger felt very, very strongly that the blog belongs to the blog owner. It's not something that Google tries to assert any ownership to. We shouldn't. We don't. But it goes beyond that, which is, if someone's got a blog maintaining another service, if we can do anything to help liberate that, not just so that they can move to Blogger, but so they can move to another service. So we created these open source libraries. There's actually a group in Chicago called the Data Liberation Front.
That's very cool, and, Data Liberation Front.
Yes, and with a hat tip to Monty Python. So, their whole project is not just import scripts to import into Blogger, but it's actually from any blog export format to any other blog import format. So you could conceivably use those libraries to convert from WordPress to LiveJournal, from TypePad to WordPress. If it comes into Blogger, great. But in many cases, it's also been used explicitly to move someone off of Blogger, which is not thrilling for us. We'd like to keep those users, but by the same token, it is theirs. It's the right thing to do.
And that's an excellent point, and it's very cool that you guys are doing that. I was looking at the libraries last night, and I think like the samples, they come with things like you can do movable type to WordPress, or WordPress to Blogger, Blogger to WordPress, LiveJournal to some of the different stuff. And those tools have been historically hard for users to find because a lot of the built-in tools that come with those services haven't necessarily been as robust.
Right.
So you guys are stepping in and helping people liberate their data, even if you're not using the Blogger platform, but you can still obviously go to Blogger.
Yeah, I mean, it's a first step. There's more that can be done. There's always more that can be done. But this is one of those cases where we were developing an expertise and understanding not only our own import format and our export format, but also those of the others. And it became clear that it wasn't going to be incrementally that difficult to take what we were doing specifically for the purpose of getting people into Blogger, to realize that it was the same logic could apply to go from A to B to C, A to C, A to D, and why wouldn't we do that? It was just a good for the internet kind of thing to do.
It definitely goes a long way for Google to prove that no, we're not evil. That's for sure.
Well, I certainly hope so. I mean, there was a great example back in January. Thomas Hawk, a well-known photo blogger,
right,
a long-time Blogger user, very popular site, tens of thousands of comments. When he was trying to export out of Blogger, we found a bug, and our export was capping out at 5,000 comments, which is not good, right?
Right.
If you're exporting, you want to have all of it. So not only did we fix that bug, but the WordPress, in trying to import the exported file, was having trouble with the size of that file. So ironically, they had to use the Data Liberation Front's Blogger export to WordPress import converter in order to import into WordPress. Now, we would have loved for Thomas to have stuck on Blogger, but down the road there may be another project that's better for Blogger for him to use, and certainly for his readers to understand that we didn't try and assert any lock-in to his site or to his community. It is his, and that was absolutely the right thing to do.
And that's pretty cool, and I think that's also probably an incentive for users who maybe if they do try out another service to consider using, I would be more inclined to use Blogger for another project, or to consider moving back if I wasn't happy with the service I move on to, if they make it easy for me to get my data in and get my data out.
Well, I'm thrilled to hear you say that, because that's certainly the thinking that goes into this. You would like to think that as the product manager, as the company in general, that you have a confidence in your own service, that people will choose to use it, not feel obligated to, or feel forbidden from going somewhere else. I had a similar experience when we were at FeedBurner. Not only did we make it easy for people to move off of FeedBurner, but we would actually explicitly redirect traffic back to the site. And we got exactly those same comments from people. We would hear back from them, well, I'm more likely to use FeedBurner now because I know you won't lock me in. So the same thinking is informing these decisions, and yeah, we'd like to think that as we continue to improve Blogger, this makes it easier for people to try it out. And if they do like it and realize that there's really no risk, no exposure, that they can come back in.
That's very, very cool. And thank you for sharing this with us, the stuff that you guys have been doing with the export tool, and talking to us about what Google's doing and Blogger's doing to help with data portability.
My pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Christine.